today. Am I actually on? Is there anybody there? Am I on? Oh, yeah. Oh, we're here. Oh, state of it. And I look this rough, not just because of nature, but, oh, look, I need to be over there. That's it. I need to be over there. Because I thought, oh, do you know, I'll just slap a bit of makeup on while I start. And then I thought, do you know, because this is how we live in our house, I do have a massive bag of wigs in my office. So I thought, while I am streaming, I might do myself a makeup. I might do myself a drag makeup. Woo! I'll be honest, I've tried to do a better positioning of my camera, but I've done it a little bit wrong, and so I've used this wallpaper tape to tape it round some other like bit that's hanging off. So we're all a bit haphazard as usual, but that's okay, isn't it? Right, who's here? Let's see. I just need to make sure that... Hold on, let me just move this a little bit. Oh yeah, because look, there's Dolly. Oh, hang on. Can't even see Dolly. I mean... Can you see? I'll just have to move her over. Come on, Doll. Come on, babes. There she is. Hang on. There she is. We all feel a little bit better having done. Look, I've got me blooming cleaning up clothes on as well. That's how rough it is today. Just appearance-wise, but still, you know. I am not glittered and glamoured, but I'm here. And I will be glittered and glamoured soon. So, right, let's have a look. Let's see who's here. I'm going to put my... Ooh. Are you still there? Are you still there? I just pressed off. We're doing well. Right, I'm going to put these glasses on because they seem in keeping. So today, I thought we would chat about... Let me see exactly what I said on the twits. Let's have a look. I suppose I should tell them on Twitter as well that I'm on here, shouldn't I? Because who would want to miss this? I'm feeling a bit drag already, which is awesome, isn't it? I'm going to write, I am streaming. Right, chuffing now. To do a drag makeup while talking about leaving home. The two are not connected. Right. Here we go. Right. I've tweeted that. Let's just have a look what I said we were talking about tonight, because I know it's all stuff to do with... Here we go. Stuff to do with moving into young adulthood I thought we'd talk about tonight. So stuff to do with leaving home, living at home as an adult, what that's like, because that can be blooming... These glasses, they're distracting me. Where's my normal ones? What have I done with them? Don't know. Hang on. Excuse me, Dolly. Oh, here they are. There we go. They were me ones from that lady from Monsters Inc. You know, talks like that. Just like that, isn't she? Well, hold on. Wait for it. Wait for the beauty. I'm making myself laugh. I haven't even had a coffee for ages and ages. Anyway. Right, there we go. I'll put my normal ones back on. Let's get back onto the chat. Let's have a see. Monsters Inc. is super cool. Yeah. So we'll chat about moving into young adulthood. So all of that stuff, which is really full on, massive transition, lots to think about. So not just what it's like leaving home, what it's like getting ready to leave home, stuff about being an adult and living at home with family. What that feels like, because it's weird, isn't it? And let me tell you, no matter what your age, if you go back to your parents' house, everybody regresses and becomes that child with all that, all the, you know, all those roles all come back. Oh, I'm moving in with my older sister. Oh, lived at home, lived independently as well. Mind you can live independently and be at home. I moved out to start university, and one of the best decisions I've made, and gained so much independence. Right, tell you what, I'm going to put my first layer on of me getting done up, and we can chat while I'm doing that. It's just I'm aware that my face is a little bit crusty. Hang on, I've even got this. Brace yourselves. So, yeah, it's this age when you leave home and you go to college, or you go to university, or you start a job, or you move in with a friend, or... Oh, look at that. Look at that. Do you know, I was wearing this the other day, putting my face on and wearing this. And my husband came, and he's so conditioned to me looking... Oh, that's our Tom. All right, what do you mean you've just ended? He's so conditioned, is my husband, to me wearing anything and going, what do you think? That he came in and I was wearing this, and it is just something to put my makeup on, you know. And he went, oh, your hair thing looks nice. You look like Minnie Mouse. I was like, thank you. I didn't want to tell him that it was just, you know, to hold my hair back to put my face on. So, let's have a look. Just one sec. So tell me, I'm going to put this on first. Hang on. This is, I got this off the QVC because it was on special, and it's really nice, but it's for older skin. And it's like an under, you know, like a primer thing, but it's got little flecks of gold in. Hold on. And it's really nice. So I like it as a starter. I'm sure I'm doing all of this wrong. I'm not a makeup artist, but I do like playing with makeup. I'm not an expert by any means, but I do very much enjoy it. And I thought, as rather than just slap a little bit on, so I feel... Oh, what's happened there? I must have scratched myself. Look at this. I was doing DIY at Tom's place and I accidentally sliced my finger. Can you see it? It bled for ages. And I was like, is this something that... I was like, do I need a stitch? Anyway, it's sorting itself out, but that was like 4 days ago. I know, it's awful, isn't it? Let's have a look. Do you like horror films? I do like horror films. Tom Simons, I'm busy. Will you stop binging me? I said I was streaming at 8. Hang on. I said I was streaming at 8, but he'll probably keep Mither in. If I call him, it takes ages to reply. When he calls me, he expects me to go and answer the phone straight away. But I suppose that's what happens, innit? That's parent stuff. Right. What was I on about? Yeah. It's really strange, this late teenage, early 20s sort of age, isn't it? Because it's like... There's so many expectations, but still so many limitations as well. You know, you're expected to be a grown-up in so many different ways. You're expected to make these choices that you're told will affect you for the rest of your life. Some of them will, loads of them won't, you know. And and I know there isn't a better system yet, but the idea that you decide what you want to do for the entire rest of your life when you're 16, when you choose GCSEs, or 18 when you choose A levels, is totally bonkers. I like to think of it as like what you're choosing for your first career, because I've had a number of careers since I was at school, and I think in this day and age, I'm just bobbing a bit of this on. Look, this is another QVC special. I do love a bit of QVC. Judith Williams. It's a massive, great big pot. This is my moisturiser. Yeah, choosing what you want to be when you don't know who you are, or you're still finding out who you are at that sort of age. It's a really bizarre ask, isn't it? It's a strange thing to assume, but I understand there's a system, and the system is sort of education, work, retirement. I don't see it like that at all. I see it as ongoing education your whole life. I've told you on the Twitter that I'm starting a master's degree in September, which I'm super excited about. And yeah, it's not as if like you're ever full with your learning, is it? Do you know what I mean? Oh no, I've learned everything now. My learning's got up to here, so I'm nearly full of learning wise now. I think that's absolutely bonkers. The idea that there's a time in your life when you're completely finished with learning is just nonsense. And also the idea that because you got a degree that you started when you were 18, or you got a qualification or whatever that you started when you were 18, is still going to be legitimate when you were 50. I mean, if you've carried on working on the stuff that you've done in that degree, that's fair enough. But can you imagine the way that you can be kind of categorized for the thing that you're an expert on that you might have done 30 years ago? Can you imagine? Okay, another scenario. So imagine you're 18 and you train and train and train and train, and you do a marathon and you do really, really well in that marathon. And you're like, yes, here's my medal. I am a marathon runner. Okay. You wouldn't be at 50 and you did nothing ever since. You wouldn't at 50 then go, yes, I am an expert at running. I am a marathon runner. I will do a marathon tomorrow. Because you haven't carried on running all those years. In the same way that if you finish your degree at 21 and you don't carry on doing the same thing, that knowledge is going to, the actual core of what you're learning might change, might expand, might have, better research, might have more information, but you're running on what you learned 30 years ago. So I'm really into the idea of lifelong learning. We learn all the time. And there's ways to do it. I do Open University, which is a way to do part-time degrees and part-time stuff like that that's mostly online, and it's really thorough and it's really well organised. Oh, look at that. Amelia, I got my bachelor's in forensics this year. Got me degree in forensics, and now I'm working as a video editor. Yep. Well done. Yeah, it's totally that you go and learn at one thing, and that you might turn out to be doing another thing, or you might be do the thing that you've decided to do at university and go, hang on, this has made me think about this direction, a slightly different direction to go in terms of what you want to learn and what you're interested in. I went to drama school when I was 18. I went in London, did 3 years acting and musical theatre, and was an actress and a singer, and did musicals and plays and tours and television and all that kind of thing. And then I was getting less work, and I tried, me and my friend, he hadn't, he wasn't a writer either, but we just had a go at something. We wrote a sitcom, which was rubbish. We wrote a 6-part sitcom, but it was made by the BBC. And from that, I was like, hang on, I really like this idea of writing. I like the idea that I don't have to wait to be chosen. I can write things, and it comes out me, Brian. And so I moved into being a screenwriter, and I did that for quite a few years. Lots of commissions, TV commissions and stuff, until I had our Tom, and then I had a few years just looking after him. And then I did a teaching course. The idea was to teach, to go out and do a few lectures and stuff like that at colleges. And I just absolutely fell in love with that whole, with teaching, with working with young people. My groups were mainly 16 to 19. I also teach lots of adults as well. Big chunk of it was to do with English, teaching English. Big chunk of it was to do with behaviour and working with people who have, who had quite extreme behaviour, might have had really chaotic backgrounds. And then another area was to do with neurodivergence, disability, all that sort, inclusion, all that sort of area. And at the same time, I was writing for the Times educational supplement every week. So it was like everything came back together, the writing, the teaching, and learning this new thing about behaviour and getting really, really into it, the psychology of why people do what they do. And now I'm writing again. I'm writing about all this sort of thing. So fingers crossed, you might see some of that in the future. And as I say, I'm going back to university in September. But I don't know, in another 10 years, I might change my mind and I might learn something else and do something else. And I know partly of that is because I have the privilege of being able to do that. And lots of people, living from day to day. We've lived from day to day in lots of periods in our lives as a family. But I'm at a point now where I can go back and do a part-time degree and work part-time. My point is, and I will get to the point at some point in the future, learning is ongoing. So if you're leaving home to go to university, or you're moving to a sixth form, or you're moving to a sort of like that 16 upwards time in your life, not only are you making all these decisions, which is a lot, even though, as I say, they don't have to be what you do for the rest of your life. Choose what you love doing. Choose the subjects you love. Never mind all of this. Well, if I do that will make me be able to be a whatever. Choose what you love, because there'll be a lot of work and you want to do something that's fun for you. I'm just getting do you know, I'm going to use this tart, because if I'm doing a drag makeup, I'm going to use that Tarte foundation. Let's have a read of these before I get cracking with my makeup. See what you're saying. I want to apply to different universities in my country, but I have no clue what to study. What you love. Do what you love. Because, as I say, there'll be a lot of work. And if you're doing something that you really enjoy, it becomes like your passion. I love me writing. I love me research about behaviour and about psychology and about inclusion and neurodiversity and all of that. I love it. And I love working with people who have all sorts of different inclusion needs. Find something that you really love and stick with that. No one gets why I'm doing English, because there's not one specific job at the end of my studies. You're learning stuff! That's fabulous! I did an English degree a couple of years ago. I did my 3 years drama when I was 18, and that was, now it's a degree course now, but at the time we didn't get a degree from it, it was a diploma. But I did an English degree a couple of years ago, and I loved it, and it sent me in all sorts of different directions. Fill your brain! Get your ideas going! Get thinking! Getting all this magic going upstairs. Oh, hello! Nice meeting you on Saturday at the beach. Oh, do you know, was that one of those lovely people that I met on the beach when I was with our Tom in Brighton? Had a lovely weekend. We had such a lovely time. Yeah, hung about with him and Em for ages. Stayed at Tom's. We ate loads of lovely food. Watched loads of brilliant films. Went for a drive into the countryside on Sunday. And went into little villages. We found ace shops, bought puppets, bought books. We were meant to be going out for a walk, but we got distracted by nice shops and lovely pub lunches. So that was absolutely amazing. So I'm full of it this week because I'm all topped up with happiness from seeing my lad for the weekend. He didn't cook me toilet steak. I don't know what that is. He cooks very well. He made me some lovely food. I don't want to do A-levels as me and stress ain't a good match. I'm going to do an animal management course. Brilliant. So are you going to an agricultural college? That's Amber. Are you going to a agricultural college or a further education college? I've taught at lots of further education colleges, and one of my really good mates is a principal of an agricultural college, and FE, further education in the UK, is totally underrated. I think it's brilliant. You know, I think it's a chance to learn. It's this idea that universities and academic learning is somehow superior to vocational learning. Load of bollocks. Do you know what I mean? Learning is learning. If you want to be a plumber, if you want to be a farmer, if you want to be a doctor, they're all vocations, you know, but the idea that because some of them are more academic than others makes them more prestige. No, do what you love. College that do loads of courses and it's 2 years long instead of sixth form, fabulous. I went to sixth form, which I shouldn't have. Because I didn't know there were options. I didn't know, and so I'd spent 2 years doing A-levels, which I hated. It wasn't the right time for me. I'm super interested in academic stuff now, but at the time, wasn't the right time. I should have gone to a college and done drama or done something like that before I moved away and did. So now I look back and think, well, that was 2 bloody years wasted. But if it's something you love, you know, do that. I'm doing architecture, graphic design and photography in college. Ooh, that's exciting. What about a musician? What do you mean? What about a musician? Come back to me. Tell me what you mean. What A-levels did I do? Well, bearing in mind this was in the 80s. Was it the 80s? Yeah, I did. I'm just going to put my foundation on while I'm talking about this. I did. And can I just say, since I bloody love academic work, as I say, I did my English degree. Absolutely love it. But at the time, it wasn't the right time for me. I wasn't interested. I was just interested in boys, getting drunk, going out with my friends, being ridiculous and partying. I'm not so interested in that anymore. I'm more interested in staying at home watching telly and reading. So I know when they do these drag tutorials and makeup tutorials, have you watched them? Fabulous. They put all sorts of under hang on, actually. I think, can I plug this in and make it so I've got another light? I bet I can. Have I got a plug? Don't know. Anyway. They do all sorts of like undercoat stuff, don't they? But I'm doing more light drag than, you know, Crystal Versace. Love Crystal Versace. Or some of the other really kind of caricature ones, which are fabulous, but I just don't have the skills for that, I don't think. Where's my little thing? Where we are. This is what I was after. That, to get that all nice. Let's have a look. I'm going to do it in this way because I can see myself a bit better. I feel like the underneath coats don't do much. Yeah, I think maybe if you're wanting if you're a professional makeup artist or professional like drag person, and you're trying to get the beginning bit of your face on where you want it to be absolutely, one shade and one, like a palette a plain piece of paper to start off with. I can totally see why they do undercoats and that sort of thing, but A, I don't know what I'm doing, and B, this foundation, I don't really wear it very much, because it cakes a little bit on me, but that's okay for the purposes of this. We'll have to decide what wig I'm going to have on in a minute, won't we? Hang on. Right, let's have a little look. Music. What makes someone old go into music? Music is forever. Someone too old go into music. Thinking about rocks, I still don't would be. Oh, an electrical engineer that does unique stuff with my instrument. So you want to be a musician and learn about music and music engineering, music production and all of that. Fabulous. I left school at 14. It's all learning. I've met animals I never knew existed, plus looking after some of the sweet cappies in the world. Capybara. Oh, love capybaras. I've got more into them since. I keep watching that. What's he called? Farmer Uncle Ben. Urban Rescue. My sister's at Notts Uni, and when she moved out I cried so much. I cried a lot when our Tom left. They both die at the end this week. I'm finishing off They Both Die at the End this week. Do you know, I've been, because I drove to Brighton and drove back, and it's like a 4-hour drive. I've got it on the Audible, so I've been listening to it on Audible while I've been driving, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm nearly at the end of part 2, so I'm kind of reading and listening because I've got the book as well. Let's have a look. Yeah, so I did A-levels. I shouldn't have done. I wasn't interested. I didn't know at that point in my life. I did no work. I messed about and I failed them. So it was 2 years absolutely wasted for me. I should have done what I loved, which was, acting and musical theatre and that sort of thing. How does that look if I do that there? Does that look bonkers? Oh, you can see me, can't you? Yeah, I'll touch up some of these bits. Yeah, failed my A-levels. Then went back to it. Oh, look, here's my Tarte Shape Tape. This is wonderful. It's really, really good at just helping. Hang on, I'm just going to put my blind down because it's getting a bit dark now. There we go. It's really good at properly, like, I'm going to put a bit on now, but I think I'll put a bit on after as well. So I'm hiding those pink bits. I did work for Estee Lauder for a while, like when I finished college. Oh, was I telling this the other day? Might have been our Tom, I can't remember. But yeah, I was working for Estee Lauder when I finished drama school and before I started getting acting jobs. And I worked in all the very fancy stores in London, very fancy ones. And we kept trying to be recruited, and I don't think I can say this. Can I say this? There were very posh people who used to come round the stores at the time and attempt to, very fancy, very posh ladies, and attempt to recruit us, the girls who work behind the counter, for to accompany gentlemen to parties. paying you a load of money to accompany, which I think we all kind of went, oh no, you're all right, thank you. But yeah, I doubt very much that still goes on. It was in the 90s when I was doing it. But what was I on about? Yeah, makeup. So I think I'm going to just put a first pop of little powder on before I do anything else. Or do I? No, I won't. I'm gonna do a contour. Hey, because I'm very much like a Kardashian, aren't I? Look at that. Can hardly tell the difference. Yeah, I'm gonna pop some. I'm gonna do a contour. I have lived 100 lives, and it's every single one of them showing right now. It won't do in a minute. So what was I on about? Yeah, so tell me, while I am just going to do this contour, if you're getting ready to leave home, or if you're getting a job, if you're like moving into being an independent person, because lots of people live at home for a really long time now because rent is so expensive, and it's, you know, nigh on impossible to get a mortgage for ages. If you're about to leave home, or if you're leaving home soon, or if you've just left home this year, what are your worries? What are your concerns? Is it being homesick? Is it, you know, meeting new people? Anyway, you tell me while I'm doing this. I'm going to pop on this. My contour is Anastasia Beverly Hills, which I bought in what's it called? Sephora in Times Square when I went to New York a few years ago. Very excited by that shop. Right, let's have a look. So we'll do that first. I'll draw on some cheekbones. I could do with a bit more light, couldn't I, really? And we'll just do a bit round there because I'm trying to highlight this bit. There we go. And I'm going to do a bit under here to draw myself a chin. to kind of narrow it down to one chin rather than my beautiful 5 chins. Let's have a look. So we're remembering this is just a bit of fun. Just a bit of fun drag style makeup, which we don't really see until I get to doing eyes. I did loads of these during lockdown just for myself. I was like, oh, what shall I do? I know, I'm going to create a new drag character, you know, all of that. Loved it. It wasn't for camera or anything, it was just for a laugh. Right, and I'm going to do a little bit of contouring of my snout. Hang on. So I'm using my big brush. Do you know? Oh, we went to see Bob Odenkirk at Brighton Dome on Saturday night. The bloke who is Saul in Better Call Saul, because we absolutely blooming love that, and he was brilliant. But it was absolutely brilliant. But there was this lady who was one of the ticket people, and she had the best makeup on. She was all like bright pink, and she had bright pink like contours, and a little nose was all like, you know, contoured to look just fabulous. And I just thought, you are amazing, and it's lovely that people could just go out being, you know, as like works of art. Absolutely loved that. Right, let's pop a bit of actually in that cheekbone there. At the moment I look like I've got a bruise, but it won't do in a bit. And we'll just put a little bit of peach. Pinky peach. Look, I've got this one. I got that out cheap from Next. It's called Cheat Party. Right, hang on. We'll just put a little bit of that there. And then we shall pop in with some of this lighter one from on there. I need my other brush, don't I? Right, here we go. Hang on. To get these cheekbones popping. So I'm going to look at the messages now, because I asked you what it is, what worries you about moving into adulthood, whether that's leaving home, I'm just putting a bit on there, going to university, staying at home, getting a job. Let's pop a bit on that. So I'm going to have a little look now. Hang on. Let's just pop a bit of this down the centre of my nose as well. Oh, that works, doesn't it? Hang on. Right, I'm just going to pop some powder over this. I've got my Bobbi Brown, hang on, loose powder, which is fabulous. It was a bloody fortune, but it's lasting me forever, which I'm very pleased about. Hang on. So I'm gonna do what I've seen them say it on TikTok. They go, I'm just gonna set this. They mean popping a bit of powder on, don't they? And I have learned. But when I'm doing this, I need to pop plenty under my eyes. Put some more in a bit. Plenty under my eyes. Hang on. There we are, look, we're making it start. I've got a bit much on there, haven't I? Right, let's have a look. Hang on, let's have a look at. So, hardest part of moving out is deciding what to eat every night. Oh, thinking about rocks. Hardest part, yeah. Yeah, and this idea that if you don't have stuff in your cupboards, you're not going to eat. Do you know what I mean? It's the planning of it, isn't it? That's just relentless at first. I used to find, during when I was a student, and then when we've had times in our lives when we've been really, really skint, that I'd plan one hot meal a day for the week, and it might be based on doing like a big pot of like a tomatoey sort of spaghetti sauce kind of thing, so tomatoes and peppers and chucking all of that in, and then for day one I might get some out and I might pop a tin of kidney beans in, and a bit of chili and a little bit of sugar and a little bit of salt, and make it into a lovely chili. That's one done. Another time I might have it with spaghetti. Another time I might chuck a load of other fresh veggies in. Do you know what I mean? Another time I might get some mince and make it into that kind of beef bolognese kind of thing. But yeah, the idea, I did find planning is something that really helped with that. Adrian, let's have a look. Being alone, friends grow apart at this age, parents help you less, so I'm scared of being independent. Being alone, so moving somewhere, and you might have friends that when you move out, when you go to university, when you go to college, when you get a job, when you leave school, essentially, friendships might drift. You might have. I've got quite a lot of friends I was at school with, but only on Facebook, not in real life. I have a couple that I know in real life, but people who were like my best friends at school, unless you're very, very lucky and you can, you know, you're lucky in a lot of different ways. Or unless you're staying in the same town where you were brought up, where where you lived your childhood, your friendships are definitely gonna change, and you're gonna meet new people, and you're gonna drift away from other people. What I find as I've got older and thought about friendships a lot, because I wrote some stuff about friendships recently, is that some friendships kind of come to a natural end. And it doesn't have to be a big dramatic, oh, we've had a massive fallout. No, you just kind of sometimes drift apart. But that friendship might have really positively impacted your life in loads of ways. And just because it isn't a lifelong friendship doesn't mean that it isn't worthwhile and it isn't valuable and it hasn't done loads of brilliant things, added to your life, taught you loads of stuff. So friendships more than likely will change as you become sort of independent. If you're moving to a university or a college, there'll be structures for you to be able to meet people. There'll be clubs to join and things like that, if you're a person who likes that sort of thing. But there will be real life like lessons and stuff to go to where you will meet people. So, and all those people there will be feeling the same. All those people in your year will be feeling the same. They'll be feeling, oh crikey, I've left everything I knew, everyone I knew. There's all these new things happening and loads to learn as well. And everybody will be having a similar set of concerns, even if they're not showing it. Even if you look at people and you're thinking, wow, they're so confident, they've got everything done, they've got everything sorted. They won't have. Everybody, when they leave home and they're starting on their own and becoming independent, is just trying to get along, just trying to work it out as they go. And it takes a little while. Let's have a look. I recently dropped out of college due to mental health. How do I move on career-wise? Right, so first of all, well done for recognising that that's what you needed. Your mental health is the most important thing, and if being in college is something that was giving it a kick in, then you've done the right thing in paying attention to yourself, knowing what you need, and knowing that at this time in your life, college isn't the right thing. So the first thing I would suggest is, if you're in the position to do so, hello, here's our Betty. Put time and effort into looking after yourself and nurturing yourself and getting better, or getting to a point where you can function and you can think of what to do next, or what you want to do next, or the direction that you want. And I wouldn't put pressure on yourself to leap back into looking towards a career. You know, you might be able to get a job locally, not necessarily something to do with your career, but just having a bit of time out, and then looking at college courses again, looking at community college, looking at different ways to get to learn more about the area that you're interested in. And like I said right at the beginning, education doesn't, just because there's this like idea that you should do, oh Betty, of course there's this idea that you should do school, university, job, retire, die. It's nonsense. You know, it's absolute nonsense. You can do your education when you want to do your education. You know, most people do it at this age. And I know in America it's totally different to here, that it costs so much money. And it costs a load of money here, don't get me wrong. But I know it's absolutely bonkers, the amount in America. So congratulations for You know, that's a brilliant thing to be able to recognise that you needed a bit of time out to get better. So I just wish you loads and loads of love with getting better and getting to a point where you feel like you can, you know, start being proactive towards what you want to do longer term, but there's no rush. Oh, Betty Whippet is just blooming pestering down here. Let's have a look. I dropped out of sixth form because my mum was diagnosed with serious illness, and my mental health was so bad. Now I'm a year on. I'm in my first week on an A-level apprenticeship. It does get better, I promise. Oh, that's wonderful. Well done. That's really wonderful. Yeah, school will always be there. Education is always there. Sometimes the just for now job helps you figure out what you want to do. That's brilliant advice. G1, 2, G4. Woo! I'd love to go to uni, but I feel the process is too frustrating for me and my parents are putting me off. Keep communicating with your parents. Keep talking about it openly, if you can, if that's a thing that you can do. And see what happens. But as I say, your parents might have the reasons why they feel they're nervous about you going to university. Have you had like an open conversation with them about why you do want to go? And I know it's hard, but to just kind of state your case, state why you feel that would be the right thing for you to do, and listen to what they have to say, and hopefully they'll listen to what you have to say as well, and just keep talking, keep communicating. Right, what am I going to do now? I'm going to do my eyebrows, and while I'm doing that, I would like to ask you, is there anybody here that is living at home who feel like a young adult and they're also living at home? So living in the place that you grew up, or maybe living in the house that you grew up with your family. There's this idea that family roles can be set from like right when you're born. They're the silly one, the lazy one, the clever one, the funny one, the pretty one, and sometimes they don't leave, and sometimes they're based on absolutely next to nothing. You know, some hilarious comment some kid made when they were 3 has like shaped the role in their family for the rest of their lives. And it's really interesting, and sometimes those roles never kind of reset in adulthood. So just let me know what you think about that. Oh, just one sec. I'm going to do my eyebrows and do my eyes now. But is there any way to see your teacher even though you don't have them anymore? Or before then you could ask them for their email or a way to keep in contact if they're okay with that. But fingers crossed you have them again. Oh, right. Feathered wings. Thank you. That was some lovely advice, wasn't it? That's brilliant. Really good advice. After speaking with my mum, I found out she realised I was doing really bad mentally. She just got off my back and my grades and just hoped I would get through that. Oh, that's brill. That's really brill. And I'm glad, Lisa, that things have got better. And you're about to graduate, which is fabulous. Well done. Oh, right. Yes, 21, but starting to feel very alienated in my home with my family. I've just moved out of my childhood home for 16 years, still with my mum though. I'm the queer oldest child that my siblings don't like. Right, I'm going to come back and chat about those in 1 second. I'm just going to do my eyebrows. Is this light enough, this? Hang on. Does that make it lighter? Right, yeah, I'll do my eyebrows because I'm looking a little bit terrified. I'm using this, and do you know what? I found this on the Tickery Talks. This brand, P. Louise. And this is an eyebrow product, and it's really nice. And it's not super expensive either. So I was quite pleased with that. But I'm going to do my natural eyebrows, and then I'm going to see what else I want to do if we're doing drag. What colour do you think I should do my look? I'll show you what wigs I've got. Hang on. I'll do one eyebrow. And I'm going to have them quite large. Much larger than I would if I was doing anything in the real life. Look, let's have that out front a bit as well. So I've got a big eyebrow. I'll show you what wigs I've got. Should I do... Oh, there's this lovely pink. Where are we? She's a little bit... Hold on, where's my brush? She needs a little bit of help, does this one, but she's lovely. A lovely long red one. Where's my brush? Yeah, we've got a lovely long red one here. Yeah, as I say, she needs a bit of help, but I need to know what colour, so I can do something with my eyes that matches. Right, so we've got this red one. Oh, this is fabulous. This has a fringe. Does it? No, this one doesn't have a fringe. This is another like mermaid type situation. Mermaid / Muppet look. Oh, this is a good one. This is quite... Is that the one I think? No, this is like a long, very long white blonde. Which is nice, but it's not massively different from my hair now. This is a nice one. This is like a short blonde bob. Let's have a look. Look, there she is. Look at her. Isn't she lovely? I know I've got loads of it. I'm like her off... what was that brilliant program? Moira Rose. Oh, it's that way around, look. With all my wigs. She's lovely, isn't she? The short blondie. Who else have I got in here? I've got enormous dark curly one, which is like Cher circa 1980. I found someone to take away the heartache, to take away the loneliness. Oh, that was me doing Cher. So I've got my big Cher one. And I've got my 70s disco. Right, which wig am I going to go for? I need to know before I can do my blonde bob. Blue one. Cher. Cher, shiny one. Red. I'll tell you what, I'll try some of them on. Hang on. So you can see. And remember, this is before I got my face on. So hang on, I'm just gonna tie this. I've got something to tie this back with, I wonder. Oh yeah. Got my blooming cleaning up clothes on and everything. I'm just tying this back for the second. And I've only got one eyebrow on as well. Ah! Right, let's have a look. Oh, she's a bit small on my head, she is. Hang on. Oh, she's a little bit upsetting as well. Hang on. So we have this one. I've only got one eyebrow and my contours. No eyes, no lips. So that's one. It's me! You see, you didn't even know I was in disguise. Right, hang on. I'm going to go back to our talk in 1 minute after I've tried wigs on. I found someone to take away the... Where are we? She needs a little bit of help, doesn't she, I think, this one. But she's hilarious. Because if it's this, I'm going to have to do a bit more work on my eyebrows, aren't I? Does it go like that, I wonder? Yeah, there's that one. It's me! Yeah, the Muppet one and the red one and the... Let's have this red one. I've done this red one before. Hang on. She's very low budget, is this one. Nice. Hang on. She needs a little bit of work, I think. What's going on at the top of my head? Brick is gonna break. I've got blooming Taylor Swift in my head. I didn't play it tonight because I forgot. So that's that one. Just think when that's a bit more done up. Oh, finally. Ooh! Chucking my brush. I have no off button tonight, so I'm just going to stay as long as I fancy it. Might have 5 billion people watching me. Might have 7. Don't even care. It's just lovely spending time with me pals. I feel like I'm talking to you one to one, which I love. I love spending time with my pals on here because you're a lovely group. Oh, she's quite nice. Obviously, I need to do them a little bit for the finished look. Ugh. Right, which one am I going for? Let's have a look. Which one am I going for? Very Brian May. Yes. Hey. Yeah. The blonde bob. If we see you, is it okay to ask for a picture? When I met you on Saturday, I didn't know if it was against your boundaries or not. Babes, it was totally fine. The thing is, I always feel like a total weirdo when I'm with our Tom and people want pictures with him and all that kind of stuff. And it's lovely. People are always really, really kind, really sweet. But I feel like I'm going, move him out of the way. It's me. Do you know what I mean? And so I don't kind of offer to do pictures or anything because I think people are going, oh, bloody hell, it's that daft old woman again trying to gag in on you know, everything that's going on. Hang on, let me sort that out a bit. And so it's not that it's in my against my boundaries or anything. Hold on, just using some masking tape to sort this out. It's just that I don't want to be pushing in. Do you know what I mean? Oh, that's better, isn't it? That's a bit straighter. Oh, you can see Dolly now as well. I don't want people to think I'm pushing in and they're like, oh, go on then, I'll have a photo with her. Because, you know, it's our lad, isn't it? It's our Tom, really. So, I'm sure we'll see each other again. Because I'm in Brighton about every month or so. So do come and say hello, and if you want a photo or you want a hug or whatever, just ask me. You know, really, really fine. Right, I'm going to do my other eyebrow, and then I'm going to look at some of these. Oh, right, blonde with a red eye look. Right, let's do that. The blonde one with a red eye look. I'll tell you what, let me just have a read of some of these. I'm just going to look back a bit. I don't know if that just stops it for a step. Yeah, so I was asking you about, do you know what might be more helpful? To ask what people do when they're getting ready to leave home, or when they're leaving home. What do you do to prepare yourself for it? I've made suggestions, but I'm not a young person in this century. Tell you what is the best piece of advice somebody's told you about growing up? So it might be excuse me, it might be about becoming an adult, it might be about leaving home, it might be about education. What's the best piece of advice? It's still going all right, isn't it, this chat? Yeah, best piece of advice you've had. You tell me while I'm popping me other eyebrow on. So I'm going to be doing, let's see if I'm doing this camera business right. Yeah. I can do it there, can't I? Look, I've got my mirror here. I could do with that on something, couldn't I? I'll tell you what, I'll pop it on it. Oh! This is the book about the Simpsons. All the different Simpsons episodes. Pop it on there, that's better, isn't it? So we're going for the blonde bob with a red eye. So because I'm doing a drag based look, I'm going to do myself some massive, like, 1980s Madonna eyebrows. Not Madonna now. Madonna in the 80s and early 90s. Used to love Madonna. She's a little bit bonkers now, isn't she? Still interesting. Still super interesting. But yeah, she's one of those that you want to give a bit of a hug to, innit? And go, love, you're amazing. Stop it with all this silliness. Stop showing off. Because she is completely amazing as she is. But she's always got a bum hanging out, hasn't she? Which, I mean, fair dues if that's what she wants. But I find it distracting. Not in a, oh, look, there's her bum way, but in a distracting from the interesting stuff that she's saying. Right, let's do a. Oh, I've got a lovely Ready Pinky palette. Let me find it. It's a Morphe one. Look at that palette. Isn't that nice? So I'm going to use some of them. Let's have a look. That's a bit more neutral, but that pinky one's a nice one. Oh, there's some nice sparklies in this one. I am beautiful. I am confident. I am empowered. I am unstoppable. I am unique. Absolutely. It's just eyeshadow. Do you know what I mean, babes? Right, but I've got lots of different brushes, and they're really important when I'm doing this. Loads and loads and loads of brushes. I like a brush. And I've also got these, which are fabulous. Let me show you these. These sparklies, which I like to put on at the end. Hang on. Let me find one. It's a little bit dry, that one. Let me show you. That's just like pure sparkle. Let me show you see it. Oh, it doesn't look massively sparkly there, but it is. Right, let's see. Let's see about your advice. What your best advice was. Ooh. Mine is that everything will fall into place and nothing is permanent. There's always room to improve yourself. And in order to be happy, you need to be true to yourself. Absolutely. That's lovely advice. Start important routines early, like skincare and workouts, as it's harder to start routines later in life. Yeah. Routines, I mean, I think routines are really good, and it's one of those things that gives you security, gives you safety, you know, safety in yourself. Do you know what I mean? Having a routine. So, and it's when you move into adulthood, sometimes it's difficult to find those routines because all of a sudden you're starting your own routines. This is all, everything's brand new. It's up to you. You're deciding what time you eat your dinner, what you have for your dinner, what if you've got anything in the cupboard. You're deciding how late you stay up at night, when you get up in the morning. You know, you're deciding whether you exercise, whether you eat healthily, do you know what I mean? You're deciding all of these things, as well as how much studying you're doing, how much working you're doing, all of this. So suddenly the boundaries are, you have to create some of your own boundaries. And that can take a little while to get done, but it's really important. Let's have a look. I also, first semester of uni, I let myself go so much because I was so busy I forgot about the importance of exercise. Forget about the idea of letting yourself go. You had other priorities. You had your first term. You were, doing all these brand new things. If you forgot to exercise, if you forgot to eat healthily for the first term, so what? You'll get back into it. You definitely will. And the fact that you're acknowledging it, you're acknowledging that you've forgotten to do that, or you didn't have time to do that, or whatever, is brilliant. You've noticed that you'll feel better if you do some exercise, or if you make sure you're getting your 5 fruits and veggies and 2 litres of water a day. So don't be so hard on yourself. Jerome is saying my life runs on routines, and that being things that make me being things that make me feel accomplished, and the gym and eating healthily is really my thing that makes me feel confident in my head. That's wonderful. That's really wonderful. Blue Blotch, I find life can be quite overwhelming, so I always try and remind myself to take life one piece at a time and break it down into achievable chunks. That's fabulous. That's really fab. I'm just looking at this. Achievable goals. So start very small. Splash your face with water and do nothing else at first. Then move it up slowly at your pace. Same with exercise, and start 2 reps of one exercise a day. If you start big, you might go downhill quick. There's loads of fabulous advice in here. I can read all of this afterwards, can't I? This chat. I think I've talked about it before, but do you know Tim Minchin, the fella who's a comedian who wrote the music for Matilda and loads of comedy stuff? He does a brilliant, I'll put a link to it, a talk. I think it was to his old university. And I think it's from like 2011 or something. But it's about micro ambitions and, breaking stuff down into teeny tiny little bits, like, I'm going to finish this stream today and I'm going to do a full drag makeup. I'm going to chat with you lot about all sorts of really stuff that I'm super interested in. I'll be really fulfilled by it. I'll upload it and put it on YouTube tomorrow. And that is my ambition. You know, I'm not thinking, I need so many viewers, I need this. I'm thinking I'm just going to do it because I'm enjoying it and I'm having a lovely time talking to my friends on here, talking to you lot, my pals. So it's breaking the things that you want to do and what you need to do into tiny chunks. Finish this chapter, you know, finish the first 5 paragraphs of the essay, go for a walk, eat your 5 fruit and veg, all of that kind of stuff. So it's breaking these huge things like get healthy into what the ingredients of that actually are. You know, write this essay, 5,000 word essay, write 250 words. Do you know what I mean? Write your 200, write your thesis, write what it's all about, write what you're aiming for, make a plan. You know, so it's breaking these big things down. I'm going to be a whatever. What do you need to do to get there? What are your steps? And look at what the nearest steps are. And maybe write it down, maybe break it down into, you know, so if that's your ultimate goal, what do you need to do this week that's going to move you a tiny bit closer to that goal? Is it doing a piece of work? Is it focusing on your health, focusing on your mental health, finding a strategy in your life that's going to help you from day to day? Is it finding a way to get better sleep? Is it finding a way to wake up on time? Is it finding a new route walking to college or to university or to your job? Is it trying to be having more empathy into what other people are saying to you? Is it knowing when somebody's overstepped the boundaries with how they're treating you and kind of starting to move that person away? You know, there's all these different things going on, and it's working out what's going to move you towards that goal. And that goal might be, it doesn't necessarily have to be, I'm going to be a doctor. It might be, I'm going to feel better about myself. It might be, I'm going to feel happy looking the way I look, and I'm going to feel confident in who I am. I'm going to know that I'm enough exactly as I am. You know, and what am I going to do to make sure that I know that? You know, am I going to work out the things that I really, really love doing and make sure that they're in my life in little chunks? You know, so there's a lot of different things that those micro ambitions can, leading towards something much bigger, can be. And the other thing is, if you're so focused on this one goal in the future, if you're so absolutely concrete on it, what happens if something gets in the way and changes you in a different, completely different direction? And it might be a really positive sort of get in the way thing. It might be something that leads you into an area that you never thought you'd be in, that you love and that you absolutely, that is completely right for you. So it's kind of a mixture between knowing that you're aiming for something, but working out, having the flexibility to be aware of what's happening around you that might divert you into a better, more interesting, more suited kind of goal for you. So that's why I think micro ambitions are brilliant, because they allow you to be aware of what's happening around you. Tell me what you think about that. What the idea of like breaking an ambition down into like much smaller chunks. While I do my eyes, right, I'm going to do a pinky red eye. So we'll start with, let's have a look. This is a tart one as well. Nice. I'm going to draw on an eye crease. Hang on. Let's have a look. Right. And because we're doing drag, I'm going to do it into a pointed up bit. There we go. Yeah, I would never, ever, ever have thought that I would be so into education and learning and the world of education, and you know, all of these things that I'm super interested in, that would never have crossed my mind at all. And it did kind of come about because after I had our Tom, and you know, and I was writing, screenwriting, working for television and stuff, I found it really hard to get motivated because, you know, I love being at home and being with our Tom. And so the idea of teaching was just, you know, I did a teaching course just with the idea that I was going to it was a reason to get my mascara on, a reason to get dressed and leave the house, and, you know, get childcare for our Tom and leave the house and go and do something for myself, which, you know, get my mascara on for a few hours a week. And I had no idea that it would turn into this, like, really big career that I've had for about 15 years, and that I'd be going to, you know, I'd be ending up judging on national awards, and I'd be writing for all sorts of people and going to Parliament, going to House of Commons and House of Lords, and doing all this kind of some campaigning and all of that kind of business. If somebody told me that at 18, I'd go, you know, don't be ridiculous. I'm going to be an actress. So that being sort of flexible in your thinking is also quite important. Oh, here's Betty again. You all right, Babs? She's having a sniff around my wigs. Right. So I've done my first line thing. This is, and if there's any drag queens watching, they're probably wincing with my terrible makeup skills. But I'm trying my best, babes. Do you know what I mean? She's an amateur. Let's put a bit more pink onto it. Right, and then I'm gonna do the up below my eye bit next, which I'm gonna do in this pale pink. There we go. How are you all doing? Let's have a look. Betty does want to be a drag queen, and I have had wigs on her before. I'll show you a photo in a bit with Betty in various wigs. And our old dog, our lovely Nora, who died a few years ago. She was nearly 17. Yeah, we used to dress her up as well. She hated it, so we didn't do it very often. Our Betty don't care, and Walter doesn't even notice, you know. Can put Walter in a full outfit, doesn't notice, ain't bothered, as long as he's, you know, as long as he can have a cuddle and he can go to sleep, he just doesn't care. Yeah, so occasionally I put our Nora in a hat. I've got a good one where she's the image of Liza Minnelli. She has a sparkly hat on. Nora, your business. Hey! Nora's drag queen name. We called her Nora T Dog. Her middle name was Nora the Dog. So let's just have a little look. Should we move on to another little topic? One of the horses I work with had to be... Oh, I'm so sorry, babes. One of the horses you work with had to be put down. I don't really know what to do, but at least I'm not alone. You're not alone, babes, and I'm so sorry. That must be so upsetting. And massive hugs. And we're all here. Oh, Blue Blotch. Sorry for repeating myself, but how do you remind yourself and remember to break things down? Sometimes I just don't even remember it's an option and just feel overwhelmed. Let me see if my book's here. Have you read Brené Brown? I've got to tell you this. Oh, yeah, I can tell you this. Hold on. There's this woman called Brené Brown. I like her. She writes loads of. She's a researcher on and professor and all of that kind of stuff, and she does some brilliant. She's written a lot of books. This is a good one, Atlas of the Heart. What this does is breaks down kind of what the different emotions are and why. So it says things like this. Let me show you. Places we go when we are uncertain. When things are uncertain or too much. Places we go when we compare. So under all of those, she breaks it down into emotions. So there's a really good one about overwhelming like this. And this is places we go when things are uncertain or too much. And she talks about stress and overwhelm and anxiety. Let me just read a little bit for you. Oh, I'm going to have to put these glasses on because these are far much more pizzazz than my usual ones. And then I'll carry on with my eye. When we're talking about overwhelm. Hang on. Let's find it. Yeah, she's a researcher and professor and speaker. So places we go when things are uncertain or too much. Stress, overwhelm, anxiety, worry, avoidance, excitement, dread, fear, vulnerability. So, is this all right if I just read a little bit of this to you? Anybody who comes on now is going, what has she got on her eyes and why does she look like that? I'm in the middle of doing a drag makeup whilst talking about leaving home and stuff. So, this is this book. Stressed and overwhelmed, and she's talking about her experience. The restaurant is packed, it's loud, every table is full and people are lined up out the door. There's at least one angry person at every table who's desperately trying to wave down the waiter. We never got our bread, we need more tea, we've been waiting on our salad for 20 minutes, we need our check unless you don't want us to pay for this crappy service. You can hear the kitchen manager's booming voice through the swinging doors. The food on the line is dying. Let's go, let's go. We've got desserts ready for table 10 and bread ready for tables 3, 4 and 8. But only one waiter showed up for that shift, and it's me. And I can't speak for some reason. I'm wearing a bathing suit and huge fins that make it hard and impossible to run. This is one of my least favourite recurring bad dreams. I hate it because after 6 years of waiting tables and bartending for high pressure, high expectation restaurant groups through college and through grad school, I know that feeling all too well. We made a lot of money, but we worked our asses off and the pressure left a mark. Still today, if Steve, that's her husband, is in the kitchen and I walk it behind him, I'll shout, "Behind you!" And if I spy someone leaning against the counter during a family kitchen clean-up after dinner, I have to stop myself from saying, "Hey, if you've got time to lean, you've got time to clean." The language and habits of that job were survival, and they stuck. Weirdly, or maybe not, the majority of my current leadership team have significant restaurant experience. Maybe we attract one another, or maybe I'm just drawn to the capacity for grind. If you work on our team and you step over a sugar packet on the floor because picking that up is someone else's job, you're not a good fit. Stressed and overwhelmed remind me of two restaurant terms that my team and I often use. In the weeds and blown. Back in the day, if I walked into a kitchen and told another waiter, "I'm in the weeds," the response would be, "What do you need?" I might say, "Can you take bread to tables 2 and 4 and re-tea tables 3 and 5, please?" Being in the weeds and pulling out of the weeds happened to everyone on almost every shift. It was just part of the job, and you learned to manage it. Walking into the kitchen and saying, "I'm blown," well, that's completely different. The kitchen gets really quiet. No one asks what you need. Normally someone runs to the hostess stand to find out what tables you run in that shift. They don't even assume you know at that point. The kitchen manager, who would never get involved in an into the weeds situation, pulls all the tickets for your guests to evaluate what's happening, and immediately assigns your table to other wait staff. When you're blown, you can either step outside or into the cooler or go to the bathroom and cry, whatever you need. You're expected to be back in 10 minutes, ready to go, but for 10 minutes there's a complete takeover. In 6 years it happened to me twice, both times due to pure exhaustion at the end of triple shifts that I was working because tuition fees were due. Stressed is being in the weeds. Overwhelmed is being blown. So she talks a bit more about stress here. Stress, she says, we feel stressed when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. So I'll read that again. It makes sense. We feel stressed when we evaluate environmental demand as beyond our ability to cope successfully. So you know that things are getting too much, and things aren't going well for you. This includes elements of unpredictability, uncontrollability, and feeling overloaded. Stressful situations can cause both physiological, so bodily, and psychological, mind and emotional reactions. However, regardless of how strongly our body responds to stress, increases heart rate and cortisol, our emotional reaction is more tied to our cognitive assessment or whether or not we can cope with the situation than how our body is reacting. So stressed is kind of looking at all the things that are happening and working out if we can cope with those things or not. I found this really interesting because I always assumed that my emotions responded to my body freaking out. But really, my emotions are responding to my thinking, assessment of how well I can handle something. Does that make sense? So her emotions are to do with how well she knows she can handle a situation or not. Just as getting in and out of the weeds is a part of everyday wait staff shift in a restaurant, navigating stressors is a daily part of living. So navigating the stuff that can, set you off, stress you out, wind you up, make you upset. However, daily stress can take a toll. In fact, chronic exposure to stresses can be detrimental to health. High level of perceived stress has been shown to correlate with more rapid aging, decreased immune function, greater inflammatory processes, less sleep, and poorer health behaviours. So that's stress. Overwhelm. Now this is different. If stress is being in the weeds, feeling overwhelmed is like being blown. Overwhelmed means an extreme level of stress or an emotional and or cognitive insensitivity to the point of feeling unable to function. So stressed that you don't know what to do, that it's all too much. I love this definition of overwhelmed from the Merriam-Webster Online Dictionary as completely overcome or overpowered by thought and feeling. So that's the difference between stress and overwhelm. We all know that the feeling that washes over us and leaves us completely unsure of what to do next. Even when people ask, how can I help, or what needs to be done, it feels impossible to respond with organised thoughts and feelings. And this is when I can get really crappy and think to myself, if I had the wherewithal to figure out what comes next and how we need to approach all of this, I wouldn't be walking around in circles crying and talking to myself. Feeling stressed and overwhelmed seem to be related to our perception of how we are coping with our current situation and our ability to handle the accompanying emotions. Am I coping? Can I handle this? Am I inching towards the quicksand? So that's really interesting, I think, the difference between stressed and overwhelmed. Stressed is you're feeling it, it's full on, but you've got strategies to sort it out. And those strategies might be, I need 10 minutes. I need 10 minutes. I need some help. I need overwhelmed is where there's so many stresses that you go, I don't know how to solve this. So that's taking a bit of quiet time, a little bit longer just to work out your strategies and being kind to yourself. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting to the point where I've had panic, anxiety disorder so long I don't know when I need to stop and I just live in a constant overwhelm. This definitely makes sense. This book is really, really good. it's definitely worth having a look at. Atlas of the Heart, and she unpicks lots of different emotions, places we go when things aren't what they seem, and then she unpicks like amusement, bittersweetness, nostalgia, paradox, irony, sarcasm, and explains what each of those properly are, which is it's really really I find it a really useful book. Right, I'm going to do my next bit of my eyes now. Can you tell me your thoughts about overwhelm and stress and what you do to manage it? What stresses you out? What strategies do you put in place to manage it? Just while I do my next bit. Right, let's have a look. What am I going to do now? Right, let's put a real... Got this silver one. Let's put this silver glitter on my eyelids. Right. And I want to do that thing where you get a proper cut. And let's bring it out to that point. As I say, I don't know if I'm doing this right, but we're talking about stress and overwhelm and, you know, and how that fits with this point in time when you're moving towards, or you might be in young adulthood, or you might be independent, you might be leaving home, you might be starting to leave home, you might be living at home with parents. You might be a carer. You might be caring for somebody. You know. Let's have a look. While I just get this. How long have I been on now? Ages! Oh, an hour and a half! I don't know if this sort of... I don't know if this sort of stream is useful or if it's distracting me putting my face on while I'm doing this, while we're talking about these things. But, you know, hopefully it gives you a chance to think about these things while I'm doing these little bits, and then we can all, like, reconvene and talk about them. So there's my first glitter. A bit more. And I'm going to do that thing where you draw on your, like, eye crease. And I think I've got a really good dark red. Where are you? Where are you? But I tell you what, if I'm being super modern, I could use a lip liner, couldn't I? Let's have a look. Not that one. I've got a really good red one. Lip pencil. Auburn, here we are. Right, I'm going to try drawing this on. Like I've seen them do on... Oh. let's have a look. I know that this looks completely bonkers, but let's have a look. Oh, it don't look so bad. Hang on, I'll do the other one. So we're getting there. I'll tell you what this is. It's because somebody said Miley Cyrus in it, and it got me thinking about, you know, sometimes she does completely bonkers makeup. Do you know what? I'm liking her more and more as I get older and as she gets older. So to tidy that up a bit. And let's put a bit of this if there's a sparkly white sort of colour I'm going to put in the middle. Let's have a look. I'm hoping that in the chat as well that you're all being able to find sort of things, ways that you can kind of support each other, and that you're learning, picking up loads of really brilliant picking up really brilliant sort of ideas and advice from each other. I hope so. Anyway, but I really like that we've got this forum that we can talk about this sort of stuff. I'm just going to put my eyeliner on. And, you know, there's no judgment. There's no... You know, we're all just learning from each other. Hold on, I'm just going to put this on. So this is a... I keep being accidentally, I know this doesn't look like it, but I keep being a little bit too subtle with my line. I keep forgetting I'm doing drag. Right, hang on. Let's do this one. I know you don't look and go, oh my god, that is so subtle. Yeah, I'll tidy this up a little bit, won't I? Get me streaming on a Wednesday as well. Yeah, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to stream on my usual Sunday night, but as I said, me and our Tom had gone out for adventures in the countryside, and we were just having a brilliant time. And I looked at the clock and I thought, oh shit, need to get back to stream. And instead of getting stressed, I thought, my pals on the Twitch and on the Twitter, they'll get it, they'll be fine. And so I'm really sorry I wasn't on my usual slot, but I knew you'd understand, because I only see our lad sort of every month or so, and I miss him, you know. Let's see how this is going. It's not very tidy. I'm trying my best, do you know what I mean? I'm trying my best. It's not very tidy, but let's go this one a bit further out as well. Do you think I should eyeline this? No, I don't. Do you think I should eyeline round this red? 9:45. Oh, yeah, it is a long Wednesday stream and still town. Thank you so much for your what's it called, modding. I really, really appreciate it, and I keep forgetting to say almost every time I finish I go, hang on, I've forgotten to thank the brilliant mods. I really, really appreciate it. Right, we're getting a bit nearer now, aren't we? So I tell you what, I'm going to put me false eyelashes on. Got false eyelashes, and then I'm going to look at these. I'm going to look at the chat, and let's have a chat about, some more of this stuff. So I think you're looking at. Let's have a look. What you. Oh, look. Look, she's here. Hang on. I'm crap at false eyelashes. Look, can you see them? Woo! I'm really rubbish at them, so they'll probably end up hanging off my nose or something. But we'll try. We'll try our best. That's all we can do, ladies and gents, isn't it? It's all we can do, friends, is try our best. Hang on. Oh. Let's pop some of this glue on here. See if that works. I'll put one on. Oh, for fuck's sake. Come on, eyelashes. Right, I'll do them with my tweezers. Where's my tweezers? There we go. Eyelashes. I said I were rubbish at them, didn't I? Right, I'll sort them out in a minute. I've done one. I'll sort it out in a minute. Because I need to put the mascara on as well, don't I? Hang on. I'll do the other one. Trying my best. I never wear false eyelashes except for, getting dressed. If I was going to a fancy dress or something, which is very rare because I don't really like parties. Hang on. And the ladies nowadays, well, not just ladies, all people, all genders, wear false eyelashes loads, don't they? And they look fabulous. And I think, oh, you are good getting these on because I can't chuffing manage. Hang on. Yeah. State of that. I can't get them on properly in the middle. See how they're dropping off a bit in the middle? Hang on, where's me? Oh, that's it. Right, let's leave them for a second, because I think they'll... benefit their real mascara. Do you mean like that? Woo! That's what I normally wear day to day. But because I'm doing this look, this crazy look. Oh, me, look, me blooming camera's falling all over the place as well, isn't it? Hang on. Is she back? Yeah, that's better. So we'll give these, I'll put another line on and we'll sort these out in a minute. What wig was chosen for this look? I think it was the short blonde bob. This one. Oh, that's good. You can cheap out on the lash, but not the glue. A good glue does wonders. Thank you. I did not know that. That's really helpful. Right, once these have dried a bit, I'm going to put this They're Real mascara over the top and then probably do another line. So we've talked about leaving home, living at home as an adult, family roles and relationships. Yeah, I've talked about this with some of my mates, and my mates who are my age or older, in the 50s, 40s, 50s, 60s, who, you know, talk about when they were going home to their parents, or if they still go home to parents, it's still exactly the same. They're treated in a similar way than when they were little, you know, because everybody has like the slot within the family. And so it's kind of interesting about how you work out what your own identity is, aside from the one that you were like assigned through being the member of a family, you know, being the silly one or the clever one or the funny one or the pretty one or the boring one or the grumpy one. Do you know what I mean? How do you conform or rebel against that when, you know, that was probably the earliest part of your identity that was put onto you? And some of it is maybe accurate, and loads of it probably isn't. And you know, I'm really interested in the idea of bits of your identity being fixed, like your height, your eye colour, all those sort of things. Things that are fixed, and there's things that are fluid. You know, your appearance, your job, your finances, your education, all things like that are really, really fluid. And so it's working out what your identity is as different to the one that's kind of been assigned to you from, oh, is this going to go on? From family. That's from on the bottom as well. So this is my They're Real. So if I just pop a bit on there. I bet Brené Brown doesn't do this, does she? Chat about all the blooming, all this shit, all this really excellent shit while putting on a full face of drag. Just saying. That's right. Yeah, identity stuff is super interesting. You know, the things that you identify as, the things that that are important to your identity, and working out who you are. And I was reading about like different things to say instead of what do you do for a living? You know, what are the more interesting things you could say? Because that's something that can be quite, you know, it can accidentally be a judgment, can't it? You know, so, and it's something that people often say, what do you do? Let's have a look. I'm just going to put a bit more of this. Oh, I've got my little brush as well, aren't I? I'm going to put some, I'm going to draw a bit more on. Where are we? Let's have a bit of this. Bit of this sparkly black. Oh. No, I think this one would be better. Oh, there we are. Oh, the eyelash is dropping off again, isn't it? Let's do it on the other side. I'm pulling that face, aren't I, that you do when you put your makeup on. Yeah. Yeah, sorry, I was just thinking about identity stuff, and it crosses over with all the stuff we talked about before about LGBTQ stuff. We've talked about, in other weeks, we've talked about like neurodiversity stuff, because that might be, some people might, you know, have their autism or their ADHD as, you know, that to them might feel like part of their identity. It might not. Do you know what I mean? It's entirely up to you what, you know, how you assign to your, what you assign to your identity. Oh, look, I've got a bit of black under there. Right, I'm just going to finish this. I'm just going to finish this makeup, see what I need to do. Rethink my choices is probably what I need to do. Let's just put a little bit more of that on there. There's my brush. This is my nice brush, my Bobbi Brown. But we'll just tidy this up a little bit round here and bring it into the cheekbone. I keep there's an SNL character called Sally McNally who goes, "I'm 50 and I can stretch and I can kick," and she's always telling everybody she's 50. And as I'm getting nearer to being 50, which I'm 50 in November, I keep telling everybody, "Oh, I'm nearly 50." And I keep reminding myself of Sally McNally. I can stretch and I can kick and I can stretch. Right, I think we need a little bit more on the contour, because it's just not enough, is it? It's very, very subtle. Let's have a look. And I'm going to pop myself a lip on. Oh, let's find a really nice. I have a really nice one. MAC one called Spice. Is that's what? No, that's Auburn. That's the one I've used on my eyes. That's why, wouldn't you? This is Spice, and I'm going to draw outside. A lip line. Because we can do whatever the chuff we want, can't we, friends? Right. Let's draw it outside. this, you know, and I've talked a lot about body image and all that kind of thing, and it's something that I do quite a lot of work on, and about being kind of completely okay with whoever you are, you know, and putting makeup on like this. This doesn't turn me into a different person. It's just me with some colours on my face, and I enjoy this, and it's fun, but it doesn't make me feel any more or any less than, you know, if I have no makeup on whatsoever and I'm going to the shop. Do you know what I mean? It's really interesting, all the stuff about makeup and about appearance, and I really like the idea of your appearance, whether that's what you look like as, you know, your makeup, your clothes, your style, or stuff to do with body image, whether you're fat, whether you're thin, whether you're tall, whether you're short, and just being the outside thing that carries you. That's all it is. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing that holds all the interesting stuff, which makes you you. You know, which makes you interesting, which makes you different, which makes you oh no, that's not right. Yeah, that makes you you. The outside stuff is just decoration. It's just fun, and it can be as much or as little of your identity as you want it to be. But and let's have some massive gloss on it. Hang on, I've got a really sticky gloss here, just in the middle. No, I think is that too light? Oh, this is a really sticky gloss. I hardly ever use this, but right, is there anything I've forgotten on my face? Let's have a look. Let's see what it looks like. I'm still wonky on my camera, aren't I? Hang on. Is there anything I've forgotten here that I should put on? I could put a little bit of a colour into the... Well, let's try a little bit of pink into the contour. Oh, quite like that. Right, let's put my syrup on. See if we need to add anything yet. Hang on. Syrup of figs. Wigs. In case you were wondering. Right, hang on. Where's my syrup? Let's get her sorted. Look, here she is. Where's my brush? Oh, it's getting quite late, isn't it? 10 o'clock. Have I been wittering on for 2 hours? I have, haven't I? Hey! Right, let's have a look. Oh, it's lovely chatting with you. I hope this is all right, me doing a face while we're doing this. Hang on. This was a bit hard to get on, wasn't it? Oh. Want to see my eyebrows though. I'll put effort into them eyebrows. I don't want them hidden under this fringe. Let's have a look. Oh, my hair's hanging out the back. Never mind. We're only playing, aren't we? Ugh. So there's that one. Ooh. I need to play my supermodel song, don't I, from RuPaul. Where is she? There's that one. I'm working it. I think it'll be better with a different syrup on. Let me try a different one. Hang on. Oh, that's a bit better. I think that's better, isn't it? She needs a bit of sorting out, this wig. Ooh! Got a question mark on top of my head nearly. It's what you get when you buy a wig for £5. I am doing that face. Is that what I think? Is that what I think? Yeah. I'm not sure. Do you think I need a brighter lip? Let's have a look. Bold red lip. I think you're right. Hang on. Let's see if I can just sort this out. I do have a very sparkly. Hang on. Is that better? Hang on. Let's have a look. I don't want the lip to overpower the eyeshadow. It's a look, isn't it? Let's have a look. Have I got any others? Who's this? Oh, I don't know what this is. It looks like a Yorkshire Terrier. What else have I got in here? Oh, yeah, we've got it all in here. I'll just see if this adds to the look. Hold on, I'm just going to try another look. Just 1 second. Hold on. Just looking for Cher. Oh, she's here. That is terrifying, isn't it? That is properly frightening. Hold on, what did I do with my moustache? I got a moustache peeled off, but what have I done with it? Where's she gone? Oh, I'll have to use a different one. I'll have to use my emergency moustache, won't I? Hey! I do look like a Muppet now, don't I? An actual Jim Henson's Creature Workshop Muppet. Just 1 second. I'm just trying to get the back off my moustache. Which isn't a sentence I thought I'd say today. I mean, I only put this face on because I was a bit late and I didn't have time to put like a normal face on, but let's just try. There we go. Yeah, I think that's the look, innit? There we are. I don't know who I am now. I'm some sort of mix of Freddie Mercury and... Is that even the right way around? It is, isn't it? Or do I go that way? That's a look, innit? It's some sort of mix of Brian May, Freddie Mercury, and I don't know who else. A little bit of David Bowie. Oh, she's falling off. Right. Well, I've finished my look, haven't I? So let's before I finish, it's been lovely chatting with you, and thank you for indulging me, letting me put makeup on and chat with you and just have... I'm not even in front of the chuffing camera, am I? Look, that looks insane when I don't have my syrup on. Doesn't it? Ooh! Yeah, it's been lovely chatting to you about all things to do with growing up and becoming an adult and all of that business, while I have been playing with makeup and hair and that sort of thing. So let's just recap. We've talked about starting university, leaving home, starting college, you know, how the roles, it can be difficult being in different roles within your house. We've talked about routines and how important routines are. Freddie Mercury and Bob Ross, thank you. Yeah, we've talked about identity. Yeah, and how like creating your own identity. Oh, thank you, Pre-Varies. Is that right? Pre-Varies. It's given me £2. Thank you. That's $2. That's super cool. That is a lovely coffee. I'm going to go and have a coffee on you. Thank you. That's very sweet. I really appreciate it. Yeah, so we covered everything that we were going to talk about, which was leaving home, living at home as an adult, family roles and relationships, making new pals and meeting new people, and practical stuff. We've talked a little bit about practical stuff, haven't we? But I think the thing to kind of think about is the roles and the routines, you know. Yeah, looking after yourself. I was really moved by that person who talks about... am I actually in the picture? Because I keep forgetting. That I look completely insane when I don't have a syrup on, when I don't have a wig on. Yeah, I was really moved by that person who talked about leaving college, dropping out of college, or having a year off because they knew that the mental health needed it. And I think that's so brave and it's so sensible. And I think it's a really brilliant thing to do, to focus on your mental health. Somehow that looks less bonkers in some ways, I think. Is it even on top of me? I'll tell you what it is. It's because this chuffing camera's wonky. That's better. Oh, my hair's dropping out on this side. Yeah, I thought that was really wise. And your mental health being the priority. Looking after yourself. Being aware of... being aware of how you're doing and how you feel. I'm going to get off now because I'm starting to talk absolute rubbish, more than usual. And I've started wiping my lipstick all over my face, haven't I? So it's been gorgeous chatting with you. Thank you for getting involved. I know it's strange me chatting on a Wednesday really late. But I thought, why not? Yeah, it's been lovely chatting with you, and let's talk again soon. Hopefully on Sunday night. Hold on, I'll just get my massive book out of the way. Yeah, let's chat again soon. I'm really, really pleased we've got our little community, and have a brilliant week, brilliant rest of the week, and I will see you on Sunday. Again, thanks so much for lovely mods, lovely Stilltown. Really, really appreciate it, and I really appreciate it. Thank you, and I will see you soon. Lots of love.